Most people have absolutely no idea how big this voice to Parliament really is. When you look at the Calmer-Langton report, which Albanese says we're all supposed to read if we want to understand this thing, it's over 270 pages, by the way. If you look at this report, what you see is it's not just a voice to Parliament, it's a voice to Parliament and government. So it's also a voice to the public service. It's much bigger than what we're being told it is. But the other thing that we are hardly being told at all is that in actual fact, there's not just one voice to Parliament. There are 36 voices all up. You've got the one voice to federal Parliament, and then you've got 35 other voices called the local regional voices, which are meant to have sort of the same rights and privileges as the voice to Parliament has to local councils and state governments. And so for the full voice to be put into place, it's actually not just the voice to federal Parliament that we're voting on October 14th. That's just the beginning. It's sort of the head of the body, if you like. There actually have to be another 35 local regional heads set up around Australia, which local governments and state governments will have to listen to as well. So this is much, much bigger than what we're being told by the mainstream media. I mean, has Albo even mentioned anything about this? But the thing that makes this really dangerous is that when you're dealing with something this big, this complex, it makes it so easy for the voice to Parliament that we're going to be voting on to start passing the buck to the local regional voices when we start asking the voice to Parliament, hey, how come things in the local regional areas haven't been fixed? The voice to Parliament is just going to say, well, look, that's really not for us to fix, that's for the local regional voices to fix, so go talk to them. In fact, it tells us this very thing in the Calmer-Langton report, where it says that local and regional issues are not to be brought to the voice to Parliament. So if the voice to Parliament is not to be taking care of the local regional issues being experienced by Indigenous Australians, what is it meant to do then? Well, the answer is in the Uluru Statement from the Heart. It's basically there to agitate for a treaty, which is the, quote, culmination of the agenda. So the voice to Parliament is much bigger than what we've been led to believe. It's a voice not just to Parliament, but it's a voice to the executive, the bureaucracy, the public service, and it's also just one of all up 36 voices, which this vote on the 14th of October doesn't even establish. The vote on the 14th of October just sort of sets up the head. But all the others need to be established after that. And I can tell you right now, as long as they're not established, the voice to Parliament will always say, hey, don't look at us. You haven't established all the other voices yet. This model is nowhere near as simple as we are being led to believe. It's huge. It's very, very complex. And it has all the marks of a system that is going to make it very easy for the local regional voices to be able to blame one another for problems, to be able to blame the federal voice to Parliament for problems, and for the federal voice to Parliament to put the problems back on the local regional voices, where basically everyone's just passing the buck, just like it happens in regular politics, where the federal government blames the state government that blames the local government, and then vice versa when things aren't getting done. This is not what we are being led to believe that it is, and that's why I'm voting no.